Nick Longo, and I'm a partner at Relevant Financial.
At Relevant Financial?
Relevant Financial, based in Richmond, Melbourne.
Okay, very good. How long have you been a partner at Relevant Financial?
Just a bit over 4 years now.
Okay, very good. And can you tell us a little bit more about the nature of your advice business?
So we are, I'd say, a family-based financial planning business. My partners and I are all of, I guess, that early family planning stage, where our kids are either at primary school or high school. And that kind of flows on to our clients, who are pretty much family people. So a lot of mums and dads and grandparents. And I think that's our niche, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to look terribly knowledgeable by suggesting that maybe that your stage of life reflects who your clients are too, but you've already answered that question.
Very much so. You know, that's I guess that's something I can relate to and speak about confidently. I share a lot of the challenges people within my life stage face day in, day out, and you're able to, I guess, tailor solutions a lot easier, especially ones that you're passionate about and that you're living through yourself.
It makes so much sense. Is it a particular type of client though? Is it occupation-based or is it broad-based typically?
Well, occupation, I've kind of, I guess, ended up in the medical field with a lot of clients. That's just got to do with a few referral partners who deal within that space. But again, I mean, one commonality, whether they are a neurosurgeon or a carpenter, is that they are still family people at the end of the day. So there is family commitments, there's career commitments, there's time management, and there's this thing about wealth generation and retirement in the background as well. So regardless of occupation, I guess in terms of goals, objectives and challenges, it's very common. And
it's a fabulous attribute or characteristic that links the nature of your client base. It's terrific.
It sure is.
Yeah. Okay, but this has been the last 4 years only. Nick, tell us, take us back a bit further. What were you up to a little earlier in your life?
Prior to that, I was a senior financial planner at one of the big major banks, where I worked for in total for almost 8 years, I'd say.
All right, so you've racked up 12 years in the financial advice sector so far. Does it go back any further than that?
And a bit more before that as well, yes. About 3 years before that on top as well. So, and that was for maybe a second-tier bank that was dealing in financial planning at the time.
Right, so that was another 3 years, did you say?
3 years, yeah.
Let's keep going back. What else before then?
Where are we? I was actually in a compliance role for a little while within life insurance. That's while I was completing my studies. And prior to that, we would be back at university
studying what?
Engineering and computer systems.
Okay, so naturally you went into financial advice.
Yeah, just a natural progression, isn't it, Peter?
Okay, so how did that all come about?
I was due to graduate about the time of the dot-com crash. So once that had unfolded, I think we went from about 30 pages in The Age every Saturday of employment and job opportunities within IT and technology, down to no pages of opportunity or job prospects there. So that pretty much determined, I guess, my future within IT and technology, and I had to make some very quick decisions as to what I wanted to do and where I wanted to head from there.
So timing's a fine thing in terms of the sliding door moments in someone's life?
Very much so.
Okay. Were you a tech guy, kind of like, a technology or details kind of person that attracted you to engineering and technology?
I was very much about the industry and the outcomes it was providing clients and industry also in terms of efficiencies. At the time, so this was dial-up internet days. Okay. So we're going back a fair bit. I don't know how many of your viewers can relate to that, but
probably a lot, Nick. Don't worry about it.
So dial-up internet, it was really the emergence of the World Wide Web. There wasn't even online retail. You couldn't purchase things online at the time.
Well, we live in different times now, but were you fun to be with when you were at school?
Very much so. Yeah. No.
Tell me about that.
Enjoyed the university life and the school life. Fun days. There was always the element of sport, which kept me grounded. There was always the focus on building new relationships and friendships. A lot of fun.
Okay, I'm not going to drill too far down into that, but tell us about the sport. What sport did you play?
I'm a rugby league man.
Okay.
I'm one of the very few in Melbourne that enjoys their rugby league over AFL. I'm a passionate Melbourne Storm supporter. The pride and joy of Melbourne. Love my rugby league.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere with that, so we'll just move on and talk about something
Yeah, it's
else.
usually a conversation ender, Peter.
Oh, well, sad I'm from Melbourne too.
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk about your business a little bit more.
Yeah.
Are you optimistic, pessimistic about the future, about the growth, your own growth and that of your business?
Yeah, no, good question. To be honest, pre-Christmas to about February, March, I guess I was a little bit glass half full. I'll reverse that. I was probably glass half empty, I should say. I'm a bit pessimistic about the industry with the outcomes of the Royal Commission and I guess some of the outcomes of that and what it meant to me personally in my business. The last 4 weeks in particular, I've spent a lot of time speaking with people, and people who are probably my mentors, people who I value their advice and their guidance. And I've made that shift to glass half full, and I'd say now I'm very optimistic about where we're heading as an industry and where I'm personally heading as a financial planner and financial advisor.
Oh, that's brilliant. In a time where you, simply because of, say, your stage in your career and that of your clients, you're evolving in an evolving industry.
Well, it's not the first time I've had to evolve. So I have gone through a dot-com crash before. And now, although I was very young at the time, this is similar where we're going through an enormous transition again. And for me, I'm just looking at this as an evolution. And there was a time where I was looking at this as a crisis, but I think now it's probably got into that space of opportunities now.
So it's a question sometimes simply of how you perceive the future to be.
Perception's a powerful thing, and that's your choice as to which way you want to look at things. But now I'm looking at the good. Ultimately it comes down to, do you enjoy what you do? And I can say honestly, I love what I do. So that will not change no matter what happens to compliance or standards or guidelines or legislation. I still love what I do. And the people I still deal with, I very much enjoy talking with them. They're still family people, there's still needs there. So in that regard, nothing's changed.
Okay, and in that, your own evolving notion of what the future of a business is going to be, to what extent has MDRT had an influence in that?
It's made me glass half full. It's certainly made me a lot more optimistic, and it's provided me access, most importantly, to the resources and to the people to help me start planning for the next 6 months, 12 months and beyond as we go through the transition. Like all financial planners in Australia, the next 12 months to maybe 24 months is going to be quite significant. Time management's going to be a huge thing in terms of transitioning the business, in terms of whatever the guidelines bring, whatever the standard is. But in terms of what has MDRT provided, access to resources and in particular people that have been there before. Why I'm here today, a long way from home, is access to people from the UK. So about 2013 they went through the same transition that we have or are going through now in Australia, and they're 5 years on now. So I've been speaking to some very successful financial planners from the UK who have been fantastic with helping with my business planning, with really asking me the hard questions and also supporting me and saying that it's all going to be okay, because as long as you love what you do, things are going to come good from this.
Seems to have had a bit of an impact, a positive impact for you then in having that opportunity?
Absolutely. Look, I've had to look at things very differently, but their perspective has helped much in terms of the most important thing is that they've provided me insight into the clear distinction between financial advice and financial planning. And in the UK, it's two very different things. So financial advice is very much product related. That is the products that you recommend or the strategy you recommend. The financial planning component, that is the client's goals and the objectives. That is the outcomes and the forecasts, and that is the really important stuff. And they said that there has to be a very clear distinction between these two things. the financial advice, product and strategy, and financial planning. So one thing I must say that they are a bit more comprehensive to what we might do in Australia.
So it gives you a better perspective on what it is that you do in your own business then?
It does, and also the things that I need to be doing also.
Okay, very good. Now, let's come back to you a little bit. You're still playing rugby league these days in any way, shape or form?
At 38, Peter, I'd say the body's not there. The mind is there in terms of energy and drive and determination, but with a high contact sport, at some point your body just says no.
Well, do you compensate in any way, Nick? Are you doing other things to kind of make up for it?
Just general fitness and exercise to keep the rust off, Peter. That's my only goal at the moment.
All right. So speaking of goals and looking towards the future, you're still a pretty young person, but do you have a bucket list? You got some aspirational things you really want to do over the next little while, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's broken up in a few different categories. Family first and foremost. Spending time with them. 2 young, beautiful kids, aged 7 and 5, both at primary school.
Are they beautiful all the time, Nick?
Absolutely not. No. They give us a very big run for our money, but we love them. So spending time with them is important, and it's probably one of my hobbies as well. When it gets to the weekend, what is the number one thing I want to do? It's family time. So spending more time with them. My wife, she holds everything together. That is, I'm only successful in my business because of my wife, Louise. Simple as that.
So it's a partnership thing.
It is a partnership. We have common goals, we have individual goals, but we are always helping each other and pushing each other towards our goals.
Well, best wishes for that. Best wishes for both your business and personal future. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.